you ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
Thank you so much for being here on last night's show with Miz Meliz. Tonight I have some fabulous guests. You are in for a treat. We have with us Apryl Schlueter from Chicago. Hi, Apryl.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, girlfriend. Apryl is the author of this book, Finding Success in Balance, and it is her journey to the cheerful mind. You're going to find out why she's so cheerful. And we have Janette Speyer. Hey, Janet.
Hey, how you doing?
My good friend. We met in person recently, and I met her from Flip Biz Chat, right?
That's right.
That's
Flip
right.
Biz Chat.
She's got some amazing things to tell us about that, and her page is Web Success, and her business is Hot Ice Media.
That's right. Web Success Team and Hot Ice Media.
I've been practicing that all day. Not hot spice, it's hot ice. Yeah, I love that. And last but not least, we have Peter Nez. Professor Nez is in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is. Hey, Professor, how you doing?
Hey, Melissa, how are you? Good to be here. Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited. Nez Nation. Nez Nation.
Yeah,
so
that's right. That's right. Don't forget it. Don't forget it.
I will not forget that. So we met an interesting way. I got an instant message from Peter going, come watch my show. I'm like, well, have you ever seen my show? So we're like, okay, well, I'll watch yours if you watch mine.
Yes, absolutely.
And now here you are. This is so exciting. Thank you. And of course, I have with us tonight Cindy Harrison, my co-host from New Hampshire, and Paint with Heart and Create This. And here she is. Say hi, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy.
Well, thank you, everybody, for being here. And I just wanted to check if anybody is in the audience watching. I want to say thank you so much for watching us live. And if you're watching the replay, I can't thank you enough. Thank you again for sharing this out and telling all your friends. Don't forget to follow us on Bubbler Media. We just love that you're here. And I can't thank you enough. I'm just going to keep thanking you. Thank you. So, Janet, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
What do I do? Well, how do I fit it all into a few seconds? Let me see. I have a small boutique advertising agency. We specialize in food, organic food, and we do social media marketing, PR, and influencer marketing, and anything that's new and different, like Flipboard. So we've discovered Flipboard about 4 years ago, and we use it a lot to help market our clients. It's a little bit different, but it's amazing. And I can talk about that later on when you ask me questions.
No, I think that's fantastic. So you have how many followers on Flipboard? How does that work?
107,000 followers.
That's amazing. I have like 3. I think you're one of them, and probably my friend Carolyn's the other one. But 107,000 followers on Flipboard, and it's pretty remarkable. I remember, just hearing about Flipboard as an app and a way to look at, like kind of read content, but you've really discovered it as a way to promote people and promote businesses, and to just have as another social media empire.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, beyond just a reader, which is what most people use it as, you can actually create marketing tools. Like you can create business brochures, you can create sales tools. In fact, we've done a couple for our clients. One of them in particular, we've worked with a whole sales team to produce this magazine that they take with them everywhere at trade shows, they email it. So it doubles up as a social media tool, a PR tool, and a trade show tool, and a sales tool. So it's been really, really practical. And that's only one aspect. I mean, I haven't even touched on nonprofits, how they can market themselves, for relief, so many different aspects.
Right. And blogging too. I think blogging is really big on Flipboard right now.
Yeah, blogging, education. People are starting to use it in schools, to do group projects. I've taught a class at Northridge for those of you that live out in this area. I've been teaching them how to use it for the group.
Okay, that's amazing. Well, I'm glad you brought up that you're a teacher, because, and that kind of connection, because the theme for this week is connect. And I was looking at the guests that I have for today, and there's, a way that we all are connected. And I'm going to give a challenge to those of you who are watching to figure that out. So you've probably already heard a few key words tonight. So, let me know at the end in the comments if you think you can figure out what connects all of us. So, that leads me to asking you, Apryl, have you used Flipboard, or have you ever tried that app?
I have not. I think I've heard of it, but I have not tried it.
That's okay. No, I mean, we're learning new things, right?
Yeah,
we gotta
I'm gonna check
that.
it out, though. I know. I'm gonna look it up. Right.
But there's an interesting thing that I wanted you to tell us a little bit about your background, and I was flipping through your book today, and actually Cindy and I were talking about it, and your background, and you've done some aerial work and cheerleading and a lot of physical stuff. So tell us about that.
Yes. So yeah, I think it's funny because I think when I was little, I was the girl who was shy and timid and hiding in the corner in gym when they were playing dodgeball, and they would chuck the ball at me, and it was absolutely terrifying. And then somewhere around, I think 10 or 11, I started doing actual physical activity. So I started with ice skating. I tried gymnastics, but I was not good at it, which is funny because I was a cheerleader later. I played basketball, and I was terrible at it. I think I might have scored 2 points in 2 years. And then I started doing Taekwondo. So I went all the way, became a black belt. And then I got into cheerleading, I did cheerleading, and then I did Taekwondo, and then I was continuing to do both. And then in college, I did cheerleading as well. So that was kind of my physical stuff. And then I got really into Pilates after college, and then took a whole break to have kids and not work out for a number of years. And then when I started getting back into it, I jumped back into the Pilates again, and then started doing flying trapeze.
That's when you did the flying trapeze after
yes.
all of that.
So so I did that for about 3.5 years. I've kind of taken a break from it because I started having shoulder problems, and just when the book came out, things got crazy. So I was like, I'm taking a break, and I've tried a couple other classes, trying to get myself into yoga, trying to do some other stuff. I also did some running. I ran a couple half marathons, and I might start running again soon because one of my clients wants to get back into shape, and I said, I'll run with you. So
that's awesome.
So being active has been a very big part of my life, and but I feel like I can't stay with something too long. I have to keep on changing it up. So I'll probably go back to trapeze sometime soon, but I've probably lost it for not having been there in a couple months.
Oh no, I don't think you would lose it. But I think that finding success and balance, and being a coach for people who are trying to deal with all of those things, you're such a wonderful example of that. And just being able to have that type of confidence, somebody who can fly through the air, and just being able
the greatest of ease.
Yeah, well, you said it. But I think that's a really great example. So,
Yay.
and did you do any teaching along the way when you were working at Northwestern?
Before I started working at Northwestern, I taught high school math for 3 years. So that was fun. I taught here in Chicago, and it was a great experience. Loved my kids, had a lot of them. It was a little bit crazy, but yeah, I did that, and yeah, I mean, in terms of I did presentations at Northwestern, but not necessarily in a teaching capacity.
Right. Well, but Professor Nez, he's teacher, right? Right? Professor Nez?
I think I'm starting to sense the common theme here of the show. Am I wrong in that? Yeah, yes. Yeah, great to be here. Wow. I definitely that's kind of been my whole branding mechanism. Obviously, my first name is not Professor, but yes, I have and still am a writing professor at several universities here in Southern California, and I teach business communications, I teach writing, I teach marketing. But I think my greatest achievement is that I became a yellow belt in Taekwondo. That's my greatest achievement in life.
Yellow, awesome.
And I can tell you, when I came home that day, I was proud. Okay, I was really proud. I mean, my father threw it in the campfire and it was over after that, but I was proud for about 6.8 seconds.
Yeah,
In the fire. Awesome. That's interesting.
It's interesting. April, I'm so impressed with April being a black belt because my daughter is, my daughter's 4. She just turned 4. My son just turned 6. And we were so hoping, because I want, my daughter's gorgeous. She looks like my wife, so I'm very lucky. She doesn't look like me. And so I'm so happy that they've taken to karate, and I don't even know if it's Taekwondo. I don't know what type of karate it is, but there's a great sensei there. He's really sweet and effective. And they are taking to it they are just like a glove. It's awesome.
That's wonderful. Now, when my kids took...
Was I supposed to say something about me? I can't remember.
Well, yeah, I don't know. There we go. But first of all, I want to say that when my kids were taking karate, I took a class with them. My husband and I took a family class. I actually
That's a good idea.
You're telling me I can revamp my yellow belt?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. You might even make it to purple like I did.
That would be my crown achievement.
Yeah, no, I really like those roundhouse kicks. That back then, that's about as far as I got. But,
there you go.
It was fun. It was in the sparring. Yeah, it was fun. But my husband didn't like that so much with me. He was like, "No, I'm not going to spar with you." But it was fun. But no, you were going to tell us about your teaching, but I'll really tell us about what you're doing now with coaching and live streaming.
Yeah, I am an absolute, I think Melissa's probably heard me say this a lot on my streams. I know probably Janette has as well. I'm a live stream nut job. I absolutely love it. So I host 2 shows, my Nez Nation talk show, Nez Nation, I'm all about it. We have a Facebook group. Melissa's in that group. Janette, are you in my Facebook group?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. No, tell me where to go.
Yeah.
I will. I promise.
April,
I totally promise.
I
want to join.
How do we join?
Yeah, put us in there.
Just literally, if you just go facebook.com/groups/Nez Nation, or just Google, or just put in the Facebook search engine Nez Nation. We have 936 members now.
Oh.
And it's just because it's called Nez Nation doesn't mean I'm like some kind of weird cult leader or anything like that. It's just
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just a disclaimer. But it's a place where we can all come together and just create a space where we can inspire each other, encourage each other, motivate each other, talk about what we're doing, and really just kind of chart our course and journey and share that journey. Just give each other help along the way. And it's been an awesome group. I really love it. A lot of my past guests are in that group, and it's a beautiful community. I wish you guys, if any of you guys want to join, I'd love to have you. Cindy, that includes you. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So my 2 shows, I've got my Mindset Live show. I've written 7 books that really revolve around mindset and emotional intelligence and self-awareness, and coming from somebody who's suffered from depression and anxiety as a young person and gone through that through extensive research and stuff. And I think I bring that to my classroom too. It's funny because right before we went live, I was and let me know if I'm blabbing. I apologize, but I'll
I want to hear it.
No,
I want to hear it.
Literally,
And then we're going to go back to April.
Sorry,
Janet.
no, we will.
Okay.
Right before we were going live, I'm editing a student testimonial video that I was lucky enough that my students were willing to volunteer and talk about their experience in my class. And I love video. So you talked about coaching. So I do career coaching, I do video consulting, I do live video streaming consulting, I do social media marketing consulting, and my Professor Nez digital agency is, thank God, it's growing like crazy. I'm just so blessed and grateful because my purpose is to get out of education, actually. I love my students, but the bureaucracy and the political cutthroatness, corporate America's got nothing on education. It's insane. So being a writing professor for 20 years and being in higher education, I've seen things you don't want to repeat. So I'm building this online academy. I'm trying to basically monetize my expertise so I can do what I love.
Yeah.
I can talk to and help people and share what I've learned in my last 25, 26 years of teaching and being in the private sector as well, because I've started business even when I was a kid, my family business, and I love it. I just absolutely love it. And I think live streaming is the greatest tool on earth to humanize your brand.
Yeah.
Totally.
Tell me one thing. When did you start? Can you remember, or do you know exactly when you started live streaming?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was. I'm not one of these people who's been doing it forever. I think early 2016, I started on Periscope.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And it's funny because I was asked this question. I was on a show this morning, and I was asked this question too. And when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Every time I go in front of a classroom, it's a live stream basically. I'm doing something live to an audience, right? So every time I go to work, I'm giving a presentation, so to speak.
Right.
So, I mean, not to make it sound like I'm like been doing this forever, but it was so interesting. The transition into live streaming was seamless for me because I love it. And I love that audience interactivity. And you can't get that with recorded video, even though I love my YouTube channel, but you can't get that with pre-recorded, pre-edited. And live video has that immediate engagement. It's got a different vibe, feel, emotional connection. And it was like early 2016, maybe late 2015, I started on Periscope and I went every day. I went hardcore.
Wow.
That's why we didn't meet right away, because I wasn't on Periscope. I was doing Spreecast, Meerkat, Blab, and then, and then
Blab was right before me. That's interesting. I'm so glad we've met now. And that's
I
all that
know,
matters.
I know, but you really have gone, we have been in the same circle for a while, and I've seen you on a lot of shows, so I'm so glad you're here. So glad that you're doing what you're doing. I think you're really leading the way for a lot of young men who need to see what you're doing and hear your message. And I think it's really, that mindset is so important. And before I go back to Apryl and Janet, I want to say that Cindy is a teacher too. And Cindy is an art teacher. She's been my art teacher. Oh, there's
the commonality. Now we get it.
And she's a live streamer, and she has a wonderful show where she teaches art. In fact, we have our show tomorrow, Paint with Heart. And how many episodes have we done, Cindy, now? 59?
Wow.
Yeah, it's once a week, so over a year now.
We do take time off.
Congratulations.
And she was just in Vermont today and yesterday, and she came from a class that she took. You want to show us what you did? Look at that.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Okay, say something so you come up, Cindy.
So, sorry, I can spotlight.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
At any rate, so this is a teapot, obviously, right? It's like one of those.
Oh, it's metal.
Silver teapots, and we sprayed it with some Krylon, and then this is a Rosemary West who is a very well-established, seasoned decorative artist in my industry, in my world, very well known, and she has a very interesting technique to do this with, and I just had a fun time, and it's not done yet, but I'm pretty happy with it.
It's beautiful. And she's been trying to teach me how to do stuff like that. And every week on Paint with Heart, do a different project, and you can join. It's 2 hours. It's on Zoom. It's not live, but people can come in, and then she you post it on YouTube and on her website. But on live, Cindy does a class called Create This on Bubbler Media, also every Sunday morning. And that's a quick one where you could make something, this stuff that you have around the house. It was really fun. So she's just really remarkable. So wanted to make sure everybody knew that Cindy's a really talented decorative artist and teacher. So thank you for sharing your piece with us, Cindy.
Thank you, Melissa.
When I first started doing live streaming, I had as my background, I'm looking at it, you can't see it 'cause it's on this wall. Now I've got the green screen, but I started putting pictures on the back on my wall of different, art that I liked, and people would ask me, are those your paintings? And I'd say, oh no, I wish I could paint like that. Well, behind that green screen is are paintings that I've done on our show that I actually did do thanks to Cindy's teaching. So it's kind of, I fulfilled that dream. So it's pretty neat. So I got to thank her once in a while publicly, as often as possible, because, we work for each other for free. All we get is that thanks. So anyway, Apryl, what are you doing these days since you published the book? What are you doing now?
So after the book, obviously we saw each other back in May when I came to visit, and I was going through this whirlwind travel because I wanted to, but of course it was pretty grueling because I think after I saw you the week before, I was in Minneapolis, the week after I was in New York and New Jersey. And so I needed a break at that point. I think my kids were, they just got out of school. So I took a month off and kind of putzed around at the house and hung out, tried to clean up some stuff. But in July, I went to a conference in Portland, and that was kind of the kickstart to get moving again. So I actually started an accountability program. So a lot of what I do is helping people find balance and helping people accomplish their goals. And I had been thinking about this kind of program for a really, really long time. A lot of people had said, do you want to be my accountability partner? And I said, sure, but I've got an accountability partner. And I was thinking about, well, everybody wants me to kind of help them with their goals, which is what I'm so good at. I mean, this is me being able to monetize or, bring in the cheerleader in me to say, you can do it. And so I also went through a lot of different processes because I really focus on productivity. So trying to create some sort of process of, what is the goal that you're going to reach, and how are you going to make sustainable progress toward that goal? And when you get stuck, how do I help you get over those roadblocks and push forward? And so I started doing a pilot of this program, just, anybody who wanted to try, because obviously this is a program that has one-on-one components in it, but also a group dynamic. And so obviously the group dynamic, I wouldn't really be able to know how successful it was until I put it together. And so I opened my doors and allowed people to try this program for free for 12 weeks. I have, as of right now, 20 people, and in the next couple weeks I've got another 15 more people joining.
Good.
And they've got goals of all different kinds, from
Are these
trying
local or is it online?
No, I have people in Florida and LA
awesome.
and the UK, and got one in Tucson who I know is watching. So hey, John, he wanted me to say hi.
I saw John. I saw John on the stream. Hey,
That's
John.
Great.
So he's gonna totally love that we're totally calling him out. He's got probably a big smile on his face. But yeah, so it could be from starting a new business, or just even trying to manage a workload, being a working parent. Learning a new language, or healthier, eating and fitness habits. I think I was telling you guys before we came on live that one of my newest clients, who is actually a friend of mine from college, he wants to get into a fitness routine, and he lives in the next town over. So we're talking about potentially running a 10K together on Thanksgiving. And so it's just trying to figure out,
turkey run. They call that a turkey run.
Yeah,
Turkey trot. Yeah, that's fun.
So it's really just trying to figure out ways to help motivate them to get their goals accomplished, whatever they may be. And so I've seen some immense progress. It's really been a great joy for me to help other people accomplish some great things. And this is kind of my jam and what I love to do.
Yeah, look at
So-
you. I'm so happy for you.
Wow,
That's
great.
fantastic.
Bravo.
So-
Good for you. Good for you,
Yeah,
April.
definitely. That is fantastic.
my
I'm so
plan.
happy
So-
to hear that. And she's a
Yeah.
tiny little thing, I have to tell you, but she's a powerhouse. I mean, I'm
She's
just
fierce.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well,
Yeah.
we're gonna all follow April and push her because her social media. She needs some social media push, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have not really
Let's
been
work I
can
focusing
help
on
with
that
that.
strategy,
yeah,
but
we
yeah,
can work with that.
I would, I'll take any help. I think I've just been focusing on like creating for.
You've been
so
doing a
much.
lot of stuff. I
A lot
can
of
see
work,
that, and
but
then
now I
helping
gotta, like,
people. So no,
spread
well,
myself around. But yeah, so that program I'm going to be launching in January officially, and we'll be pushing throughout the holidays some promos to actually start charging for the program because I'm seeing that it is
Yeah.
a massive success.
You
So
gotta
yeah.
charge. For
I could
that,
see
girl.
you do live streaming, April. I could see you crush it in
she's
live
great.
streaming.
Well, I just
Huh.
did. So I did 36 days of live streaming over
Did
the.
you really?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
from
Oh, good
July
for you.
till my kids started school, and it was just
You did
totally
the August
unscripted.
thing, right?
Yeah,
You did
so
the-
I basically started
Oh,
the day I
wow.
came back from that conference. I was kind of pushing my accountability program, but also showing people like, here, hold me accountable because I have a lot of
Yeah.
stuff to do over the next 36 days. And some days
Great.
I had nothing to say, but I said, I'm committed to doing this, so I'm going to do it. So I was,
You did
trying
it.
to say goals are not always fun, but if you commit
did it.
to something, you have to do it. And
You should be
Some
on
people watch-
Flipboard.
Yeah, so
Maybe
that's
I
a
should.
Yeah.
It's a perfect segue, Janet. Now, tell us what you're up to these days and what you're doing next.
Well, I'm in a huge transition. Not only do I have my little marketing firm that's progressing and growing, especially there's a lot of people there that eat whole foods and organic foods these days. So we've got plenty of work to go around. But also there's been this opening with Flipboard. I don't work for the company. I sort of work with Tawana, who you'll meet one of these days. She's going to be on your show, Melissa.
Oh, I love that.
And so we host this FlipBiz chat, and there's been this huge demand for learning Flipboard because it's an amazing business tool. So anyone that live streams, it won't take live streaming, but it does flip YouTubes. So anyone that has like different shows, you can send it, put it all in a magazine and send it out. So for you, Professor Nez, and for you, April, and for Cindy with your art. And I'm thinking as I'm listening to you all speaking, I think art ties us together because there's art in everything you all do. So
That's right.
yeah, you all have stories to tell in an artsy way.
That's a beautiful, well said.
Very
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Very
The
true.
teaching and the art. So there's so much of us that ties us together. And Cindy, I have a collection of teapots from all over the place.
Oh, wow.
I absolutely love them.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's
So
Glad to see them.
Ooh.
yeah. So I can see like all Flipboard contributors here on different magazines, one for live streaming, one for yoga and Pilates, which I'm a avid fan of Pilates in particular. You stopped Pilates, April?
Temporarily, my instructor probably is mad at me for
We gotta
leaving.
get-
Very good accountability.
I had some really bad shoulder problems and
Oh,
You
I
gotta
can't
take care of
recommend
that.
yoga then.
Yeah.
I'll get back into it.
Oh,
I
too
started
bad.
doing Pilates bar, like so bar
Yeah.
classes. I was doing
Yeah,
that,
that's
so
good.
that's been fun.
How about dancing? Dancing's great.
I will dance on a dance floor anytime I get a
Yeah,
chance.
Melissa is the best dancer of us all these days.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
also
My
done-
Bitmoji
Dawn
is
has
a
already
really good
commented that
dancer.
she's quite the dancer.
I've also
Okay.
done dance challenges too, where I'll post like 15-second clips of me doing random dancing and lip syncing on Instagram and stuff.
Oh,
I've
that'd
done
be
that
amazing.
for years.
I'd love to do
You'll
that
have to
with
check
you.
that. Yes, absolutely.
That
I
would
will
be
let you know.
great. I'd love to get into that dance thing, with you. That'd be great.
Well, I think that's it. I think Janet is a connector.
Yes.
You really
Yeah.
love to meet people. That's how we met on Twitter. Just kind of got to talking and on a Twitter chat, and she's just fantastic and finds the best in everybody. And I love that about you, my dear.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you so much.
We're getting close to the end of our little show. And before we do get going, we have the fun part. And I'm just going to, even if we go over a little bit, I think it's okay if you guys don't mind. Cindy's going to ask me some questions. Now, I have a feeling that at least 2 of the 3 of you like football and fantasy football and might be able to be our judges Now, last week on my show, it was a UK edition, and all of our guests were from England, and we're in England. And so I surprised Cindy by asking her to answer some trivia questions about British terms, and she was surprised, and she had to answer. And she, so this week she has some terms for me about football. I know nothing about football.
Let's do
So
it.
throw some questions at me, Cindy. Tell me if I get them right, that I get to ring my bell. If I get them wrong, who knows what she'll do to me.
Well, we'll cancel the lemon curd on my head thing.
Oh, that's
from last
right. Yeah.
Oh, lemon. I'm English. I can explain lemon curd. It tastes
No,
great.
I love lemon curd. No, the thing was, is if I missed a question, if I got it wrong, she was going to pour lemon curd on my head.
Yes, a kilo.
Oh,
A kilo.
Wow.
And
So-
she'll
but-
never know when it could happen.
And
It's
she didn't mention though that
Like
I
fun.
did quite well. I thought. I think I got 3 wrong, but I did quite well.
she did do quite well.
So it's my turn to get her.
Okay,
So
for it.
I want you to name the team and position, and I got 3 players, and they're relatively famous as far as I know. I'm not a football fan. However, I do know this first one. His name is Tom Brady. So what team does he play for, and what's his position?
Oh, I know.
Oh, you got to
this.
get this, Melissa.
Oh God!
Yeah,
I just
you
have
can
to tell
get
you,
this,
like,
Melissa.
there's not multiple choice.
This is too easy.
have
This
Oh,
is
do you
too
want
easy.
multiple?
give me some
you want
Get
choice.
that
multiple
lemon
choice?
curd ready.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm going to eat that lemon curd. I'm not pouring
I
it on
know.
anyone.
We're making a biscuit or
Oh, it's
something.
like-
I'll eat it
Can
with
I-
you, Janet. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have my waffles. Anyways, okay.
Okay.
So you want choices.
Yeah.
You got the Chicago Bears, the Boston Patriots, or the Miami Dolphins.
Oh God, you guys!
Dun dun
I'm
dun.
so bad at this.
Da, da, da,
Chicago
da.
Bears.
No.
I wanted to put my little thing up here and say, "Oh, super." No.
Well, in all fairness, it is the New England Patriots. Cindy.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, exactly. That's what
Or did
I
I
stopped
say
thinking.
Boston?
Maybe you still get the super. Yeah,
We're
Oh,
Boston.
be another one.
You know, New England, Boston. It is New England.
it's pretty much the same thing. I know.
Position, Melissa. You want multiple choice?
He's-
Oh,
I have
sorry.
tight end,
quarterback.
Yeah, what's the-
quarterback.
Oh, I
I'm
know
muting
this one.
her.
I know this one. He's a quarterback.
Okay.
Yay!
That super sign up there.
One more for Tom Brady. How many MVP awards has he received?
Oh, I don't even know that one.
Yeah, neither do
Is
I.
it under
Multiple choice.
10?
Multiple choice.
Yeah.
3, 4, or 5?
3, 5, 4.
Right. You got one of them right.
All right. Well,
Okay.
None of the above.
so as anybody, we were going to talk about fantasy football and college and cheerleading, and what does that all have to do with connection? It's homecoming weekend. All right.
Pictures of your son. I saw your picture. Was that your son, Melissa?
Yes, my son went to the homecoming game,
Congratulations.
the homecoming dance
Good-looking
tonight.
couple.
We went to the homecoming game last night.
You must
It's
be
kind
proud.
of time of year,
Aw.
yes. Just, I want to thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, April. She's the author of Success and Balance. You're finding it. You got to do that. Thank you, Janette Speyer from Web
Thank you.
Success Team, and Professor Nez, Nez Nation, and of course Cindy Harrison, my co-host from Paint with Heart. Thank you for being here, everybody. Have a great week. Next week, my guests are Madeline Sklar and Ross Brand. Can't wait to see you all. I hope you all come back and join us on last night's show with Miz Meliz. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Lito and I are in front of the Magic Castle in Hollywood, California. It's gonna be a fun night. We're both in here. Hi.